Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, fellow members and guests. My name is Paananen, and I'll be giving my second speech today with a focus on organization. The title of my speech is Traveling, Locally, Nationally, and Globally. Do you have a passion? What is it that you daydream about when you think of living the life that you desire? One of my passions in life is traveling. I absolutely love to travel. I love excitement, adventure, and variety, and traveling gives me all of these things. Traveling has a way of heightening my senses, making me more aware of different sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures than if I just stayed in the same place doing the same routine. Traveling can be accomplished at a variety of different levels, including locally, nationally, and globally. I'd like to share with you how I've included traveling in my life at each of these different levels. There was a time when I didn't feel I could really travel very well because I had small children and a small budget. But in my passion for traveling, I discovered ways in which I could satisfy this need by going to many different local places that I hadn't really visited before. I took advantage of special activity days and took my children to places like the Science Museum, the Botanical Gardens, the Arboretum, the Zoo, the Children's Museum, Orchestra Hall, the amusement parks, special fancy restaurants sometimes, the Art Museum, history areas, landmarks, the Nature Center, the theater, the mall, the aquarium, and plain old parks and libraries. There's always many, many places that you can go to locally when you just look around. I also took advantage of family annual passes to these places so that I could fit it into my budget for one fee for the entire year and revisit these places as often as I wanted. It was a great way to satisfy my need for travel when it wasn't very easy for me to go on an extended trip. Gradually, I was able to take more trips across the country. National trips can take on a variety of themes. One of the themes of a national trip could be places of national significance, such as Washington, D.C. or New York City. A national trip could also be to go see a place of a nature wonder, such as the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone Park or Niagara Falls. A national trip could also be for educational purposes, maybe visiting different colleges or traveling for training for a particular job that you'd be taking on, or maybe going to a convention. Traveling could also be for excitement, such as an amusement park, maybe Disney World or a place like Hollywood. Traveling could also be, across the country, could also be for just plain old relaxation, such as at a beach or the foot of some beautiful mountains or at a cabin in the woods by a lake. Whatever the theme of national traveling, I love them all. Global trips really add an extra element of exotic excitement with different cultures, languages, and foods. I think that knowing the language of another country really adds to the full experience, which is why I have spent some time learning other languages. Trips to other countries can also have different themes. The main reason people think of is for pleasure, as in sightseeing, maybe with a tourist group. Another reason for a trip overseas might be for a job offer for a period of time in another country. Another theme would be for a missions trip, maybe with a certain church or with a charitable organization. And finally, a person can go overseas to see friends or relatives and maybe stay for a period of time. Some places that I've been to are France, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Brazil, Peru, and Jamaica. And personally, I found that the best way to visit another country is to have another person that you already know who lives there and who you can stay with and who can show you around. It really helps when you're in another country to have somebody there. Some places I'd like to go to where I have friends that are already there are Singapore and Manila, China and India, Sweden and Norway, New Zealand and Australia, and England. I'd love to visit these places and see my friends who live there. In conclusion, I hope that I've given you a glimpse of how traveling has enhanced my life. And I'd like to challenge you that if you don't travel too much, that you could at least take some time to check out some local places in your area and see how traveling in that way can enhance your life too. Thank you.